Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Hope you're well. Hope you're enjoying your Monday afternoon. It's just turned afternoon. Whatever it is you're doing today, be it at the pub, be it at work. I keep saying at the pub. I'm not saying that you're all alcoholics, but you know what I mean. Whatever it is you're doing, just enjoy it. All right. We're talking a little bit about some transfers. We're talking a little bit about the season. We're talking a little bit about just some general thoughts and feelings heading into the international breaks. We've got a bit of a break now where England go off and play. You know, I don't know about you, but I don't really, other than big tournaments, I don't really care for England that much. Big tournaments, obviously, but yeah, you playing San Marino at home doesn't really interest me all that much. But we'll talk about it anyway in a minute. So let's talk about, I'm going to start with some transfers, because I think that's why probably the majority of you clicked on. I know that transfers seems to be the one that everyone enjoys most. And obviously, yes, our transfer window has shut, but we can still move players out to different leagues whose transfer window is still open. One league that is definitely still open is the Turkish league. And this came from Dan Kilpatrick in the Standard, and he says that Spurs still, some within Spurs still hope that Ndombele could move to Turkey this month. I mean, look, he's not in the squad. Højbjerg not going as well is not going to help his cause. You know, when you think of the midfield three at the moment of Maddison, Sarr and Basuma, you've then got Lo Celso, Skip and Højbjerg behind them, and you've still got Big Rodrigo to come in soon as well. I mean, he'll be back in the next couple of months as well. So you're looking at about the 8th or 9th centre mid of the club. And yes, he wants to play Champions League. Yes, he wants all these things. Well, if you want to play in Europe this year, Galatasaray do play in Europe. They do want him. It's, you know, the one thing I have noticed is that they've wanted about 10 of our players, but none of them move there. Now, is that a case of a lot of this is all smoke and there's no fire? Or is this all a case that our players just don't want to leave? I think it's a bit of both, if I'm honest. I don't think they wanted all those players that they've been linked there. But I think there's some players that definitely don't want to leave, which I'll be coming to in a second. But he's not going to be playing. And as much as I think Tanguy Ndombele might be one of the most natural talents, one of the best natural talents we've had at Spurs, it's not worked. And that is a emphasis on the working. You'd say, look, never know, things can change. I just don't see it working at all now. I think it's done. I think he will move. I don't see how he'd want to sit in the reserves doing bugger all. I would say, unless he's thinking, look, I've got this international break here, I'll probably get to spend a little bit of time with Ange and training. Maybe I can blow his socks off. I'm going to turn up early every day. I'm going to leave late. I'm going to be in the gym training hard as well as out on the field. You know, out on the field, my energy levels are second to none. And you know what? Things can change. Maybe he does impress Ange. Maybe Ange goes, actually, there is a player here that I think, if he kept that, we can do it. But I just don't see that happening, if I'm honest. I do actually see him going. Hopefully for his sake as well, he wants to go, because why would you want to sit in the reserves? Why don't you want to, you know, even if it was playing in, you know, a lesser league. I'm not saying Turkish league is a lesser league, but I'm just saying as a general thing, even playing in a lesser league, you're playing good minutes. And hell, if you play really well, you never know. Even the French national team might have a spot for you. You just never know. But it does kind of look like that whole Tanguy Ndombele, Ange Postecoglou experiment does look like it's done. Speaking about a player who had offers, had quite a few of them, and rejected all of them, Hugo Lloris. Darren Kilpatrick again said that Lloris is set to stay put after rebuffing interest from host clubs over the summer. I see his contract being basically terminated, and I see him on his way, really. You know, he's been quite picky about what he wants, and, you know, fair play. You know, you want a situation that is as close to perfect for yourself as possible. This is your career at the end of the day. This might be one of your last moves, or at least a last move within a potential top 5 league. I don't blame him. I think people are going, why did he turn down Nice? Oh, this, that, the other. It's like, well, maybe the situation wasn't right for him, and we need to treat these players with a little bit more respect. Especially Lloris. I think a lot of fans have just turned on Lloris. And okay, yes, the end of the season, it wasn't the greatest ending, but you know what? He's been a great servant for this club. I'll always remember the brilliant years and the brilliant games he played for us over a handful of games where it didn't go well and there was outbursts and bust-ups. I'll always remember the majority and not the minority, okay? Because he deserves that respect, you know? I think a lot of fans go, it's one game, he doesn't deserve respect anymore. And if that's your opinion, that's absolutely fine. For me, I'll respect him as a human being as well as say, look, yes, his time is done. Yes, he won't play for Spurs ever again. But I'm not going to slander him for not going to a club he doesn't really want to go to or it doesn't suit the future that he wants. It's his career at the end of the day, you know? He wouldn't slag you off at your job for you not leaving, all right? So, yeah, I hope he does get the move that he wants. He won't be playing at Spurs. I do see his contract basically being terminated. And do you know what? All the best to him. But I no doubt we'll talk about him maybe like once or twice more in the future once we have an idea of the move and everything. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about what's coming. We'll talk about what's been and we'll talk about what's coming. So we'll talk about what's coming first. So yeah, we're international break now. So players go off to play for their national teams. Shock, I know. When we come back, we've got an interesting run of fixtures. We do have I think a nice introduction back to the Premier League post-international fixtures. I also didn't realise that from our next 7 games, we don't leave London. We might go to different parts of it, but we don't leave London until, I believe is it November? Is it mid-November? It's one of those, it's either early or mid. I can't exactly remember. Don't shoot me for that. So to give you an idea of the next 7 games, we've got Sheffield United at home. So I think that's a nice game to come back to where we can then pick up steam again. And look, no offence, Sheffield United, yes, we should win that game. But it's a good one to kind of get the boots to the ground again, get going again. Because then we've got a humongous North London derby away to Arsenal on the 24th. So big game. And then 6 days later, we're at home to Liverpool. So huge back-to-back game, top 6 clubs. I mean, Arsenal, I know, didn't play all that well against Man United. I think they've started winning games, but they started slowly. So and also when it comes to let's be honest, it's come to derby games, form is irrelevant. It's all about the here and now. That's the way I look at derby games. I don't look at we've won 7 in a row, you lost 7 in a row, we're gonna win. It's who wants it more on the day. And if someone puts in that big booming challenge and gets the fans riled up and getting them on boards, it's pretty hard to stop that flow and stop that momentum. So yeah, then we've got Liverpool, like I said, 6 days after that. We then travel to the absolute weird stadium or Carroll's back garden of Luton Town. We then play Fulham at home on the 23rd of October. Crystal Palace away and then Chelsea at home on the 4th of November. So yeah, maybe mid-November is when we next leave London. Some really interesting games there. I mean, they're pretty much all derbies. And you think of London derbies. You know, you think you got a top 6 club in Arsenal, followed by another one in Liverpool. You then give it about 5 weeks, and then you've got another one in Chelsea. Chelsea's still a top 6 club. Position regardless, they're still a top 6 club. Don't forget that. Although they looked shocking against Forest. I don't know what happened there. Ooh, tough one. But yeah, there are some games in there that we should be looking at and saying we should be picking up 3 points from this, this and this. I'm not going to say where I think points-wise we're going to be at the end of that run, but it's interesting. I mean, we've definitely got, out of those 7 games, we've got 4 home games. Obviously, we play 4 games, we play 3 away from home. So yeah, we've definitely got an opportunity there to kind of really kick on. I mean, we've had a great start to the season. You know, I think if you are Spurs fans, hey, 10 points in 12 after playing 3 away games and Man United at home, you'd go, yeah, thanks very much. And I would be as well. And then the fact that performances have been quite good around them, happy days. You know, so let's talk a little bit about what's been. So first game of the season, obviously played Brentford 2-2. We then, 6 days later, obviously had that home game against Manchester United. After that, a week later, we played away to Bournemouth. And obviously that's just been at the weekend, we played away to Burnley. I'm not talking about the cup game, but yeah, there was a cup game in there as well, which was some penalties to Fulham between the Bournemouth and Burnley game. But we're talking about the league because we're not in that cup and I don't want to talk about it. So don't make me. Let's talk Brentford at first. So yeah, first game of the season, Brentford's not an easy place to go. They had a really good home record last year. Yeah, first game of the season, London game, London team come into town, you're going to be up for it. And they were up for it. Yes, we scored early, but they came back. I think a lot of people said Vicario's rubbish, get him gone. Already get a new keeper in, get him gone. He's rubbish, he's this, that and the other. What a funny world football can be on that front. You could see in that game that there is a style of play that we're building, and it just takes a bit of time to get that thing into a well-oiled machine. I just wanted to have a quick look. We play Man City in December. That'll be an interesting one when it comes to that style of play, especially because Ange gives Pep a lot of credit for the inverted fullbacks. We then obviously had the big home game against Manchester United, and I think it was a great test. I know Man United didn't have a great starting game of the season when they played Wolves, but these top six clubs, they can hit fifth gear at a moment's notice. And there's some good chances in that game. I think Vicario made some really great saves. I know Ante hit the post in that game. But overall, I thought, yes, the first 30 minutes we weren't great and we weren't at the races. You know, we were a little bit under the cosh at times, but I thought for the rest of that game, we were miles a better team. I think the big thing is we've got a left back that we can trust in one-on-one situations defensively. And if they rock past the left back, you've got a left centre half who might be just as quick as him. And Van der Ven and Udogie are very young. They're going to make mistakes, you know, and I'm all for them making mistakes when they're that young, because there is such high upside to both of those players becoming absolute world-class players. And I do believe they can be world-class players. I'm not saying they are, I'm just saying they can be. You know, I think Romero's taken on this leadership role at the back, literally like a house on fire. He's been fantastic in that leadership role. You know, I think Maddison has said, like, he doesn't speak English all that well, but he'd lead by example on the pitch, you know. I mean, him and Van der Ven together, when starting and playing the full 90, have conceded 2 goals in 4 games. You know, when we conceded 2 goals first game of the season, Romero had gone off, obviously, with a concussion. We've conceded 2 in those games that they've played a full 90 together, which, you know, we're talking 3 games. That's not bad. We've conceded 4 in the league in 4 games. That's not bad. Yeah, okay, we might concede 38 over that time, but when we've scored 11 goals in those 4 games, I'll take 1 goal conceded every game if we're going to slap in 3 or 4, you know? Obviously, it's not going to happen, but you get my point, right? But yeah, I think that's been fantastic. I think we're a better team when Pedro Porro plays. I know fans talk about his defence. I don't think his defence is as bad as everyone thinks it is. I'll come to the Burnley game and how brilliant he was in that game when he had the ball. I think your midfield 3, we don't need to say too much. I just think they've got a really great mix of players in that midfield 3 who I'm really impressed by all of them. The fact that you're going to have to bring you get to bring Bentancur back into that fold as well. It's, to think that midfield was a weak point, and now we're sitting here going, we've rebuilt the midfield, and we still get to bring back one of our best players from last year, and our best midfielder from last year back into that. It's good. It's good news. Very good news. The funny thing, we scored 11 goals, and I don't think our attacking 3 consistently together have had a great game. Yes, you could probably say maybe Burnley, but as a whole, not really, right? You know, Richie struggled a little bit. Son sometimes has been a bit of a passenger. We haven't really seen a lot of Solomon. Kulusevski's been a bit wasteful at times. Sometimes the pace of the game is a little bit too high. But actually, score 11 goals. And so I can't remember who said it. It was one of the pundits who said, everyone's got to step up. With Kane going, everyone has to step up and play a part. And I think you're seeing that now. Everyone's taken on responsibility to 1, create goals, and 2, to score goals. You know, Maddison's got 4 goal contributions in 4. Sonny obviously scored a hat-trick against Burnley. Kulusevski's getting in the action. Yes, maybe Richarlison hasn't scored the goals, but that obviously I think will come. I think Manuel Solomon, obviously 2 assists on his full debut. Good to see. You know, obviously he's still got players like Sarr getting on the score sheet. Romero scored 2. Udogie's getting in on the action. Porro's getting in the assists. Everyone's stepping up, and that's massive. That's a well-balanced team, and I think something that we haven't had for a long, long time through the Bale and Kane eras is a well-balanced team, and I think we're better for it. Even when Kane in the Pochettino era was scoring a lot of goals, you had Son step up. Ali was scoring a lot of goals. Eriksen was getting on the assists. You know, we had a lot of players contribute, and I think we're maybe getting to that point where everyone's starting to contribute again. We then played Bournemouth away from home, kept a clean sheet 2-0. I thought we were very good in that game. I don't think we really struggled in that game. I think that would be our most complete performance, I'd say. Defensively, very sound. Midfield controlled the game, and the attack, yeah, okay, again, maybe wasn't fluid, but definitely were destructive when they needed to be. I think that's the way I'll sum up. Destructive when they needed to be. I like that. And that's a beautiful thing. I don't really need to talk about that game. I was just quite happy with that game, to be honest. I think especially when we scored the second, we just completely controlled that game, and Game managed it beautifully. And then obviously, yes, last weekend away to Burnley, 5-2. Obviously, Burnley scored early on, 4 minutes in, and then we just erupted, basically, and scored 5 unanswered before they'd got a late goal. Son was, not last season Son, the Son previous with the Golden Boot. I thought Maddison was fantastic, and their link-up play is beautiful, Maddison and Son. Solomon looks, there's a creative player there. I'm impressed with what I saw of him of one game. He's definitely a left winger, not a right winger. But obviously, every now and then going on the right wing, you can still have effectiveness in a game. I thought Kulusevski was better. I don't think he was amazing, but he was better. Midfield 3, still doing their business, those 3. I'm not going to talk about them. They were solid. The back line, I thought Vicario was good. I mean, conceded 2 goals, but I'm not going to put that blame at Vicario's feet. I think he's been very good so far this season. The back 4 I thought were good, Porro, yeah, maybe for the first goal, but overall I thought Porro had a fantastic game. I mean, that assist to Son for his 3rd goal was outrageous. The fact that's a right back playing that inch perfect. I mean, that is inch perfect. That's a difficult ball to play, getting around players and then still in Son's feet, I'm pretty happy with that. I think how I would sum up the rest, and this has been a long video, so I apologise that I am rambling, but how I would sum up this season has been a fantastic start to the season. The football's been beautiful. I look forward to watching Tottenham again. Last couple of seasons, I didn't really look forward to it. Now I do. Now we have a purpose at the club. The manager is very personal and he relates to fans really, really well. He's got a good connection with the fans. As much as some fans slagged him off, obviously. It's funny how football works. One win and everyone's back on side again, But it's a great start, but it's a start. We'll see how we respond after the international break. 2 weeks apart, how does everyone respond? I don't know. But all in all, I'm a happy bunny, if I'm honest. Yes, there's something that we could have done more of in the market in the summer. Another centre-half would have been probably ideal. When we look at it, we only signed 1 on the deadline day in Brennan Johnson. We probably should have signed at least 1 more. Ideally would have been the centre-back. But you know what? These things happen. I've sort of let myself rest from it. I've gone, look, we'll get through. Hopefully we get through, knocking on wood, that we get through the international break with no injuries. And we come back and we hit the ground running again with Sheffield United at home. But anyway, guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you did enjoy this longer video. Drop a like on it if you did. Hit me in the comments section below about the Tanguy and Ndombele Lloris situation. Also, tell me your thoughts and feelings about the season so far. Who you're most impressed with, who you're not impressed with. What do you think we need to do come out of the international break? We've got a busy time ahead. But anyway, guys, hit me in the comment section about that. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And hit the bell notification for more. But anyway, guys, that's the end of the video. And I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care, guys.